Ignorant, vile, lying trolling has gone bipartisan. Any Trumper on any Trumpist message board or Facebook group has seen more than their share of trolling, ladies and gentlemen. And Ben Shapiro delves deeper into, well, let's just say he has on his hip waders as he does so. So I advise you all to do the same, metaphorically speaking. You see, the right has learned to love trolling, which is just another manifestation of how the right has become the left, and there really isn't much, if any, difference between them. Hatfields and the McCoys, as we've discussed before on the subject of tribalism. You see, provoking a response should not matter more than speaking the truth. You know, it used to be for conservatives, all it took was speaking the truth to trigger a leftist. Now, Trumpoids don't care about the truth any more than, or I guess you could say, National Socialists don't care about the truth any more than Marxian socialists. They're both socialists, in effect. Now, on New Year's Eve, Donald Trump unleashed a tweet in honor of the coming year. Quote, and you've all seen this, no doubt. Happy New Year to all, including to my many enemies and those who have fought me and lost so badly they just don't know what to do. Love! By the way, speaking only for myself, I can easily ignore that. You know, you can easily ignore trolling when you can realize the source and recognize it for what it is. There are a number of Trumpers who think that they're triggering me when what I'm really doing is triggering them. I mean, seriously, Trump supporters are so effortless to trigger. You know, they are trolls, but they're the easiest ones to troll I've ever seen. Even lefties are not as easy to trigger as Trump supporters are. You see, his most ardent followers thrill to this display of full-on juvenile testosterone. They thrill at what they approvingly call trolling by the madman. It's an actual term of partisan endearment. They tweet pictures of Pepe the Frog jubilantly, figuratively slapping each other on the back over the audacity of their big man on campus, a.k.a. Biff Tannen. This is the new cuck servatism, ladies and gentlemen. Elicit a reaction. There's no follow-up. There's no design. And truth is irrelevant. The new cuckservatism promoted by Trump and his most ardent imitators is a teenage slap fight with no general purpose other than to deliberately offend, thereby making themselves appear more powerful in their own minds. Well, I tell you what, Trumplicans are a new level of solipsism. That's all I can tell you, folks. I mean, remember when Trump said that Ted Cruz's father was involved in JFK's murder? That was trolling. And when Cruz responded, Trump's followers laughed, calling Trump a madman, and suggested that was meant to be a compliment. See, and suggested that Cruz was a weakling for letting such things get under his skin. See, for the trolls, trolling is a win-win. If the target responds, you simply point and laugh and suggest that you've triggered him. And if the target doesn't, you taunt him incessantly as a coward. which is why counter-trolling is so much fun, because they haven't and can't account for that. It doesn't fit in with the trolling mindset. Now, how does this make the country better? Well, it really doesn't, but then it's not meant to. I mean, the logic seems to be say something vile, untrue, and insanely stupid, get a rise out of your opponent, high five, I guess. Oh, and MAGA! Make America great again! Now, as I said earlier, there's nothing wrong with offending the left if you're simply speaking the truth and the left gets offended, which has always worked in the past. I don't know why bother making up vile, lying, stupid things when just being a conservative, just defending your principles and arguing for what you believe in triggers the left. I mean, the left is easily triggered. I think that should be obvious by now. What's so hilarious about the images of college students being triggered is the sight of grown adults literally shaking when they hear basic truths such as men are not women and merit has nothing to do with race. That's actually not trolling, because speaking basic truths that elicit a ridiculous response does not mean that the purpose of such speech is to elicit that ridiculous response. The ridiculous response is just an allergic reaction to truth by those on the far left. But you see, trolling has nothing to do with truth. In fact, it often traffics in lies in order to trigger. And then it suggests that anything that triggers the left must be virtuous. Now that's actually dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. When Trump tweeted last week that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin was very smart for not retaliating against Barack Obama's expulsion of Russian agents from the United States, his followers didn't respond to the policy. Try to get Trumpers to actually discuss policy, you're going to be waiting a long time. But no, they didn't respond to the policy. They laughed at the trolling. That's all it takes for these people. That's all they care about. Personality cult. No substance. No conservatism. They've become the left, in essence. The left had their messiah, and now Trump supporters have theirs. See, Trump had triggered Obama and the media. He'd gotten them mad. Mission accomplished. Really? That's all the more to which you aspire. Now, was this good policy? Is it smart to cater to a brutal authoritarian who intends to enlarge his sphere of influence by any means necessary, including violence or support for other genocidal dictators? Who cares? At least Obama's pissed off. And did you see Brian Stelter's face? No wonder Trump now says he'll engage in policy announcements via Twitter. It's a no-lose move for him. If he announces an unpopular policy and his opponents respond, he'll just stick on the clown nose. He's trolling! Look how easily triggered they were! Why are they taking his Twitter account so seriously? Why did Trump supporters take it so seriously then? Now, this is all pretty convenient political cover, isn't it? It's just the Jon Stewart strategy writ large. Play the comedian when you say something unsupportable. Play the statesman when you chance on something popular. But it undermines the notion that the president ought to be answerable for both his policies and his words. Of course, why wouldn't Trump have this mentality? I mean, he said all the things he said during the campaign, including grab him by the pussy, and he still got elected. So why would he think, based on that he has any reason to be discreet? Why would he not troll? It got him elected. Or he thinks it did. No, this turns conservatism, or cuckservatism, as it is now known, into, and how many times have I used this phrase, folks, over the last few months? Reactionary silliness designed for pranks rather than for the preservation of liberty, to which Donald Trump is a mortal threat. But the X-right, or alt-right if you prefer, never Trumpers of the right, all right? Let's just make sure we get the labels straight. But the former right has fallen in love with trolling, thanks to the trolling of their new compatriots on the left. Barack Obama routinely engaged in such trollery and then sneakily pointed to the supposedly nutty response from the right as evidence that conservatives were unreasonable. Obama took executive actions that were designed not to implement useful policy, but to generate an outsized response from the right, which he could, once again, point to as evidence that the right is unreasonable. And the right reacted. React is the root of reactionary. This is why I say that Trump's election was not conservative, it was reactionary. It was a reaction to Barack Obama. Underlain by no coherent ideology or policy agenda. It was just total emotional reaction. You could even call it white reaction, since Barack Obama waged war against white America. Trolling the left in response is too delicious a treat to forego for some Trumplicans. So we've substituted triggering our opponents for defeating them. Instead of telling the truth and allowing the left to demonstrate its own radicalism, instead of making triggering worthwhile by simply speaking unpopular truths to those who most desperately need to hear them, it's now more important to elicit a response by any means possible, including lying or deliberately provoking, which in turn discredits the troller, renders them unserious, and when it comes right down to it, makes them like those they are trolling. So we now have two sides screaming at each other, laughing when the other side responds, and ignoring the truth and policy in the process. The left has brought what used to be the right down to their level. Congratulations, Trumplicans. And could you not say this about both sides now? Have you seen how nuts they are? No, really. Have you seen it? You're gonna see it for the next 4 years.